horoscope. This week is absolutely insane. I don't often get intimidated by the week ahead astrology, but this week has me like, ooh, shit's about to go down. And oh, like I don't mean not to scare anybody. It's not meant to scare anybody. It shouldn't scare you because it's all meant to be. It's all like divine. I like to say it's fine, it's all divine because it truly is. But this week just might be really uncomfortable. There might be some things that happen that really challenge us and really feel like major conflicts, but lean on the tools, the resources, and the support you have access to in order to not get bogged down by it or swept up by it, because this week is really going to challenge a lot of us in ways that are needed so that we grow, so that we change, so that we evolve, right? So there's a lot of pressure for that this week. I feel like the whole year has really been building up to this week, and it starts with the full moon we have on Monday, tomorrow. It will be pretty close to Uranus. So again, it's going to shake things up. It's here to really bring innovation that's needed for us. It's really going to push us and propel us into the change we have been procrastinating. Probably because of some mental tornado or some mental belief or something in our mindset that has been like trying to figure it all out logistically when the universe has literally been pushing us to do this thing. And we just have to take the leap and trust that the net is going to be there to catch us, right? And that's what this week is going to be about, is how much can you lean on your faith? How much can you lean on your intuition to guide you? And to, again, not get swept up into the external chaos. How can you be like your own tree, your own anchor this week when things feel really chaotic, for lack of a better word? I'm going to use that word a lot. So we have the full moon on Monday. Like I said, we also have Mercury square Pluto on Monday, going to propel us into and challenge us into a new mindset, like to transform how we've been viewing things mentally, or how we've been speaking about things, or how we've been embodied in things in our mindset, right? And then on the 17th, I don't know what day that is right now because I'm using my astro planner and it doesn't have the days of the week. It just has the dates. So the 17th, we have the sun conjunct Uranus as well. That I think that might be Friday or Saturday, is really when, that chaos, that change, the innovation we need to make to get out of our comfort zone is going to be illuminated. I guess we could call this a Uranus cazimi because it's the sun and Uranus conjunct. And then we're going to have Mercury square Mars on the 17th as well. So that could bring about, as I talked about in my TikTok update, I also posted on Instagram if you're not on TikTok, but the link is in the description box. It will take you to the video on TikTok. Even if you don't have an account, you can watch it. I talk about the transits on a day-to-day basis of this week in a more general way. And Mercury square Mars is really going to bring about like maybe aggressive conversations. And we really need to, because Mars is in Leo and because Mercury is in Taurus and they're squaring off, there's a big need for us to remain grounded and practical in our truth and embodied in that. Again, leaning on the resources you need or have access to stay in that grounded state, whether it's getting out into nature, whether it's hanging out with friends, whether it's just chilling and watching Netflix and turning off all your devices, right? There's that need to stay grounded in the ways that we can and to really lean on our practices to be able to do so this week. And with Mars and Leo, since Mercury and Mars are going to be squaring off on Saturday, or over the weekend, really, it's going to be it's going to be building up all week, and then there might be a big release of it over the weekend. There could be some pride mixed in there, either from ourselves or from another person that we're having to battle, right? So I remember saying in my update, pick your battles this week and like really take the time to not get swept up in aggression, to really pick your battles, to really stay grounded in your truth and what's practical, what's real, and like your own grounding support system. It's so important to have those this week. And then on the 18th, we have Jupiter sextile Chiron, and I remember some other transits that's not included in this planner for May. I'm looking at literally like the peak things for May. And I remember some for this week that just aren't put in here because I don't think they put the North Node in transits, and I really focus on the North Node a lot in my transit updates. So I remember we have a grand cross between the moon and Sagittarius, Jupiter and Gemini, the South Node and the North Node. The North Node and Saturn both being Pisces on top of each other. And we're really gearing up towards Saturn moving into Aries soon as well. I believe that happens on the 24th. So big, major endings, and what cannot be taken with us into the new chapter needs to die this week. This is the week where it's like, okay, are you really going to hold on to something that isn't serving you just because it's comfortable, or are you going to release it? And I just saw 555 on the clock. Are you going to release it knowing that something better is coming in, and releasing whatever this is making space for that new thing? Right? So that's really what this week is about. Again, it's not meant to scare anybody that this week is going to be intense. It's just how it's going to be. It's going to be like, if you're not letting things go that need to be released, the rug might be ripped out from under you so that you fully like let go and you trust in what is coming. Okay, if we don't do things for ourselves from our intuition, the universe will do it for us. Unfortunately, this has been the whole like theme of my life. So I'm speaking from personal experience here as a third line in human design. That is my wisdom to impart on you for this week ahead. So without further ado, let's get into the horoscopes. We're going to start with Aries. Okay, Aries, we start this week off with the moon in Scorpio in your 8th house. That's where the full moon is going to be on Monday. It will be, let's see, yeah, in the morning on Monday. It looks like at 22 degrees. So that's going to be in your 2nd and 8th houses. It's really going to propel you to make some innovation or change as it relates to your finances, how you're making money, what you're doing with it, all that fun stuff related to your values, your possessions, your money. And with Mercury moving through your 2nd house now, you might be feeling called to share your ideas or communicate things in a new way that's going to bring in more money for you. Then on Tuesday, the moon moves through your 9th house in Sagittarius. This might put a focus on what you're changing about your life and yourself and your perspective of life itself, like how you're viewing the world around you, how you're really viewing things and what you're doing in order to maybe change that, or have a more lighthearted, carefree approach to life itself. That might come to a head or amplify on Wednesday as the moon is harmonizing with Mars in your 5th house. There could be some creative passion or pursuit or romantic thing that you're needing to take action on, that you're realizing like, oh, I really want to like do this. And it's more so like about you just taking action on it. And again, trusting, like I said at the beginning of the video, trusting in the divine intervention, in your own intuition and in your own desires and where it's going to lead you. Like take the leap, and then that will catch you kind of energy. And then on Thursday, this is when we have the grand cross between the moon, Jupiter, South Node, and North Node, and Saturn. So this is really going to challenge that perspective of life that you're shifting. It's really going to challenge a way you have been going about your day-to-day life, and maybe even like prompt an international traveling trip or something like that. If you are taking a trip, this could be the day that you have your flight out. But it could also challenge you to just make sure that you have a hold on your mental health and your physical health, and that you're really doing the things that you need in order to take care of yourself and not overgive to others. This could really bring up some emotional healing thing too, an emotional release of some wound or trigger related to your identity or your appearance. On Friday, we had the moon moving through your 10th house. This could put a big focus on your career. There could be something that you want to do in your career that really challenges your sense of self, or challenges that wound or trigger around your identity, around your appearance. But just believe in the intuitive process, believe in your divine guidance, in that this whatever this is, and doing this, even though it might feel uncomfortable, is really going to help your finances. Like I really feel like it's going to positively bring you more money, even if it is uncomfortable in the moment. Also on Saturday is when we're going to have the Sun conjunct Uranus. So again, this could be some positive breakthrough in terms of how you're making money that you take action on, that like really you see a positive turnout with. And then on Sunday, the moon moves over Pluto in your 11th house. So this could really be, again, giving you more fuel for that breakthrough, maybe how you want to change the way you're showing up on social media or in your community, or getting clarity around a long-term vision, a long-term goal that's going to benefit positively your finances, but it's requiring you to step into a kind of new identity. So that's the week for you, Aries. Let me know how that resonates, and I will see you next week. Okay, Taurus Rising, we start the week off with the full moon in your 7th house. This could prompt some breakthrough or change around a relationship. This could be the time where you're like getting really clear on wanting to call in a relationship, or this could just be, through the support, the help of somebody else, you really step into a new identity. You become become embodied in a new version of you. There could be some aggression this week, the conflict or things with family as well, that maybe prompts you to take a better look at your mental health and have better routines or practices there, especially as we get later into the week. On Tuesday, the moon moves through your 8th house, so you could be focused the middle of the week on finances, on resources, on what you're doing with your money, maybe organizing it in a better way. It could be related to the new identity that you're stepping into, or things about your career, things about your long-term goals that are changing for you, and you're realizing like how you actually want to go about it all. On Wednesday, there could be some harmony with that. There could be some breakthrough that happens as the moon in Sagittarius is going to harmonize with Mars in your 4th house. It could come through family. It could come through a dream. Weird as that sounds. It could come through a conversation you have with somebody that maybe like it first felt really challenging, but then you worked through it. Maybe you took space from it, and you got the clarity you need in order to like integrate whatever this is that came up. That could be again amplified on Thursday as the moon is going to add tension to Jupiter in your 2nd house. Also going to add tension to the north and south node in your 5th and 11th houses. This could feel like, okay, I have this idea, I know what I want to do, but I don't know how to go about it. And it could feel like there's a restriction or um, limiting beliefs around money somehow that are tied into that. And so you're going to realize like, oh, I just have to kind of put things out there and see what works in order to like move forward with this thing. And again, like I said at the beginning of the video, like don't get swept up in the conflict. Just what can you do to sort through it? What can you do to move through it? Then on Friday, the moon moves into your 9th house. It's going to challenge Venus in your 12th house. Venus is your chart ruler, so the transits of Venus are really impactful for you. This could trigger some big breakthrough in your perception of life. Again, maybe your belief systems that are wrapped into everything that's happening in your career and your money, maybe even your friendships, your community as well. There could be some challenge that happens on Friday that really propels you to make a necessary change to your mindset, your mental health, etc., or your spirituality. Then on Saturday, the moon continues to move through your 9th house. It harmonizes with the Sun and Uranus conjunction that's happening in your 1st house. So there could be some big release of an identity on this day. This could be a breakthrough that comes that's like, oh, like it's almost like you finally see clearly. Let me know how that shows up for you. I feel like that's pretty specific of a timeline there, Taurus. And then on Sunday, that breakthrough could extend into your career as the moon moves into your 10th house and over Pluto. It could be something related to how you're showing up or what you're doing in your career, how you're sharing your creative pursuits or passions. That really also propels an identity shift, that propels this big transformation of you, of how you're seeing yourself, maybe how you're presenting yourself, your self-worth, your appearance, anything related to you is gonna be supported this whole week in having a big change, a big innovation through the breakthroughs and things that do come up as the week progresses. So that is the week ahead for you, Taurus. Let me know how that resonates, and I will see you next week. Hi, Mother of Genres. Hi, Shadows. Taurus Rising here. I hope I can get hired from all the job applications. 5 weeks, no jobs. Maybe the message is for you to create your own job. Or, you know, the main thing for Taurus right now is innovation. How can you think outside the box? Okay, Gemini Rising, we start the week off with the moon in your 6th house. That's where the full moon is going to take place for you in your 6th house. In your 12th house, it's really going to illuminate your physical health, maybe how you're taking care of yourself on a daily basis, and maybe needing to set boundaries with people as well, maybe even like energetically as well as physically. It could be a big, just the message of the full moon in general is having those boundaries in place. Could positively benefit your career as well, and call for a release in terms of family things or home things, maybe releasing attachment to something related to that. Then on Tuesday, the moon moves into your 7th house, so this is going to put the focus on your relationships, maybe meeting people that are more aligned with where you're headed and what you're doing, maybe like really feeling better about what you're sharing or how you're putting yourself out there in your community or on social media. There's a lot of potential for bringing in people, meeting new people through that this week. Then on Wednesday, that's going to be amplified as the moon continues to move through your 7th house and it harmonizes with Mars and Leo in your 3rd house. So this could be really like your breakthroughs around transforming the way you've been sharing your ideas or communicating yourself or what you've been allowing yourself to believe is possible for you about life in general, but specifically around your work and what you're sharing with the world and people. Thursday, there could be some tension. There could be some conflict between all of those things, like almost like it was ramping up all week, and then Thursday is kind of like the breaking point or the release of all the tension that's been building there. There could be some breakthroughs that benefit you in your career that require you to again, like maybe shift your beliefs or shift what you're viewing as possible and telling people is possible about what you're doing and how you're doing it. Then on Friday, the moon moves into your 8th house. You could be focused on money, resources, how you're investing. There could be some friction that happens on Friday between somebody in your community or something on social media that really challenges this in you and maybe prompts for an emotional release around whatever this is as well. On Saturday, the moon is going to harmonize with the sun and Uranus in your 12th house, as well as the South Node in Virgo in your 4th house. So there could be some, again, emotional release around family, around home, and you're realizing like, oh, this is how I actually need to innovate my spirituality or my relationship with mental health and things like that, and mindset. There's a lot of mindset stuff coming up for you this week, Gemini. That's really kind of sneaky stuff that might be infiltrating your career success. Then on Sunday, again, there could be some very positive breakthrough around that emotionally as the moon moves into Aquarius in your 9th house and really challenges you to let something die as it relates to your perspective of life and how you've been viewing things for yourself. There could also be on Sunday a challenge between your mindset around something that you are communicating or sharing with the world or putting out there, or this could be some friction or tension, like almost like a psychic attack. I don't know why I'm getting that. That's very specific. Related to something that you do on a daily basis or someone you talk to even maybe on a daily basis. So let me know how that resonates for you, Gemini. That is your week ahead, and I will see you next week. Okay, Cancer Rising. We start the week off with the full moon in Scorpio in your 5th and 11th houses. This could bring about some big shift, innovation, revelation, maybe even in your creative pursuits or passions and how you're sharing those with the world. On Monday as well, we have Mercury squaring Pluto in your 8th and 11th houses. There could be some shift in your finances that prompts you to think outside the box and maybe start sharing yourself differently with your community or on social media. On Tuesday, the moon moves into your sixth house and puts the focus on your physical health, boundary setting, how you're really supporting yourself, taking care of yourself, your physical needs, and also maybe how what you're doing for work is either contributing to that or harming it. Could be a positive shift around that on Wednesday as the moon harmonizes with Mars and Leo in your second house. This could bring about a positive shift in your finances. Like, oh, you were sitting on an idea on what to do in your career or what changes to make in your career, and you take the action and it brings more positive results than you anticipated as kind of this energy. Then on Thursday, the moon's going to add tension to Jupiter, the north and south node, and Saturn. This could be like whatever you did earlier in the week really shifts your perspective of life, but it feels also very challenging in the moment. It doesn't feel comfortable, but when you get out of it, this is only going to last a few hours really, you're going to realize like, oh, how positively beneficial it was. Then on Friday, the moon moves into your seventh house. You could be focused on relationships, on other people in your life. There could be someone who helps you with whatever this is that maybe you didn't expect as kind of a surprise to you, but they could also come at conflict or challenge through your career as well. Then on Saturday, the moon continues to move through your seventh house and it harmonizes with the south node in Virgo in your third house. This is a big release around a belief system, around a mindset, around a perspective of life. Maybe even like where you're going or what you're doing on a daily basis. Maybe travel is at play here and it's going to positively shift and innovate what you have been doing, not only in your career, but like in your community. It might even shift the people you're around, and so that you feel more supported by the people you have around you in your community. On Sunday, the moon moves into your eighth house and over Pluto. There could be a big shift breakthrough around money or resources that comes through a community in some way or what you're doing on social media. Again, it feels like you took action on something. It felt challenging. It brought up things you didn't realize it was going to bring up, but ultimately it is positive for your finances, even if there are like kinks or challenges, conflicts to work through initially. So let me know how that resonates with you, Cancer, and I'll see you next week. Okay, Leo rising, the full moon and Scorpio is going to be in your fourth and 10th houses. This could call for a big shift around career, public image, reputation, maybe related to family. This could also shift where you're living, if that applies. Like it could bring about, oh, I need to move to this new area to better support my career, or I need to be closer to family to support my career, or something like something is being illuminated in these areas of your life that's going to cause and prompt for a major shift. Then on Tuesday, the moon moves into your fifth house into Sagittarius. There could be an emotional focus on a creative project or passion, pursuit in some way that maybe shifts your perspective of life, that maybe shifts like how you're viewing things, or maybe even like where you're going on a daily basis, what you're doing, who you're talking to, etc. That can be amplified on Wednesday. There could be some healing that happens there as well, that maybe brings up a wound or trigger around like just how you're viewing life that maybe you didn't expect. Could come through a romantic interest or through the sharing of that creative passion or project that you're working on and starting to share with the world. Something around that could be challenged on Thursday as the moon is opposite Jupiter and challenges the north node, the south node. There could be a big major release of your money, maybe in how you're making it, how it's coming in for you, what you're doing with it. That's related to just all the changes that you've really been made aware of earlier in the week. On Friday, the moon moves into your sixth house, so puts the focus on your routine, how you're taking care of your physical health, your body, what you're doing for work on a daily basis to support that as well. Again, this could challenge some belief system you have or some perspective of life of how you're viewing the world around you, maybe even related to your identity or just how you're going through life itself. And over the weekend, there could be a big conflict that comes up through your career that challenges a sense of self, that challenges your maybe identity or an appearance factor about you. Like maybe someone making a negative comment about you or something, and it really like you really take it's really like an ego hit. But again, it could promote this change and innovation that's needed in your career, and really also propel you to prioritize self-care and prioritize how you're taking care of your physical health. On Sunday, the moon moves into your seventh house and over Pluto. There could be some big emotional shift or transformation in terms of relationships, in terms of other people in your life that maybe comes through. Again, the challenge that happened earlier in the week in your career. It's almost like this energy has been building all week, and Sunday is when the revelation comes, the transformation comes. The breakthrough comes, and none of this feels comfortable, but you do realize it is happening for a reason. It's happening to support you and having more harmony with all these areas of your life. So that's the week ahead for you, Leo. Let me know how that resonates, and I will see you next week. Okay, Virgo rising, the full moon is happening in your third and ninth houses. This could really illuminate a big mindset shift, a big perspective of life shift. It could also change up where you're going on a daily basis or what you're doing on a daily basis in order to have more support for yourself through material possessions or finances. On Tuesday, the moon moves into your fourth house, putting the focus on your home, family, maybe even like healing subconscious wounds that maybe are still there hanging out, that may be affecting your finances in some way. On Wednesday, this is amplified as the moon in Sagittarius harmonizes with Chiron and Aries. It's also going to harmonize with Mars before it harmonizes with Chiron. So there could be something you're really called to take action on as it relates to that. Maybe in having this more open, playful, heart-centered approach to what you're doing or how you're sharing your work in some way. Then on Thursday, the moon challenges Jupiter, challenges the North and South Node and Saturn in your angular houses, which are really, really major points of change and points of foundation for you. I mean, this is you, this is your home, this is your relationships, and this is your career. So there could be some big conflict or challenge that happens on Thursday that kind of propels you to make an innovation in these areas of your life. Then on Friday, the moon moves through your fifth house. Um, and the moon in Capricorn in your fifth house will be challenging Venus and Aries in your eighth house. There could be some challenge or just conflict around something creative that you're doing or something creative that you want to share. It could feel like, oh, the resources aren't here to support it, or like I have to do this in order to have the resources to support it. But again, it all kind of comes back to that mindset of how you're viewing things. And just knowing that like it's fine, it's all divine, and what is really meant for you in your spiritual path and to make you money in the ways that you're meant to is always going to be kind of like an easeful thing. It's not going to have to be such a challenge or conflict. So again, like I said at the beginning of the video, don't get swept up in the conflict, and just trust that it's all happening for a reason. On Saturday, the moon in Capricorn challenges Chiron in your eighth house. So that could again bring up some emotional wounds or triggers around sharing your creative things, your creative works, and the resources that you allow to come from that. There could be some big breakthrough, innovation, mindset shift on Saturday, as well as the sun joins Uranus in your ninth house. There's this big shift in how you're viewing life around you, maybe related to communication or again a belief system and how you're taking action from a belief system that maybe hasn't been supporting you and you're needing to change it, innovate it to take action from a more positive or beneficial mindset. Then on Sunday, the moon's going to move into your sixth house over Pluto. So again, there could be some transformation that all of that came up really supports in you making in your work and how you're taking care of your physical health and also like self-care and having boundaries around things that are needed to have boundaries around that so that you can really support yourself in all the ways that you need to financially, in your relationship and all these areas of life that we're talking about that are a major focus for you this week, Virgo. So that's the week ahead. Let me know how that resonates, and I'll see you next week. Okay, Libra, the full moon in Scorpio is going to be in your second and eighth houses on Monday. This could really illuminate things around money, things around values, things around material possessions, maybe decluttering stuff, making major changes or innovations around how money is coming in for you and what you're doing with it, how you're allowing yourself to really fully be supported and embodied and having an ample amount of resources for yourself. Then on Tuesday, the moon moves into your third house. So there could be an emotional look at your communication style, your mindset, your perspective of life, maybe even to where you're going on a daily basis, who you're talking to, what you're doing. You could be wanting to maybe travel more and really kind of working out the kinks as it relates to that. Then on Wednesday, there could be some positive change around that as the moon in Sagittarius harmonizes with Mars and Leo in your 11th house. There could be something that happens, like you share something on social media and it really has a positive impact on you and the people that you're sharing it with. There's something that's really like supported in terms of what you're sharing, how you're sharing it, who's finding it, how it's impacting your community, and also your relationships as well. Like it just feels like there's this big harmonization between all of those things, especially on Wednesday. On Thursday, though, there could be some challenge that happens between all those areas of your life, especially as it relates to your mental health, your physical health. There could be something that brings up like, oh, this is really like impacting my health in a negative way, and I need to make a change so that I'm better supported in taking care of my health, and not only physical, but also mental as well. So there could also be some, through that challenge, through that conflict, release of a limiting belief or a mindset shift that positively benefits you in the long run. Thursday could also feel a little bit spacey too. There could be some maybe like manipulation or gaslighting that someone tries to kind of bring to you, and you just like stay rooted in your mindset that you know it's true for you and no one can tell you otherwise. On Friday, the moon continues to move through your fourth house in Capricorn. It challenges Venus in your seventh house. So whatever came up on Thursday around this, your home and your relationships could be amplified through a challenge or a conflict on Friday. Again, just stay rooted in your truth, stay grounded in your practices that are going to support you taking care of yourself despite what's going on around you. And then on Saturday, that could again be amplified through some wound or trigger in somebody else or through somebody else that brings up maybe deep-rooted family or childhood dynamics and things in an emotional kind of way that prompts for a big release there, and maybe positively benefits your money. There could be some idea or breakthrough or something that comes through all these challenges that it does positively benefit your finances as well as your mental health and your like spiritual protection. Then on Sunday, the moon moves over Pluto in your fifth house. There could be some emotional breakthrough as it relates to, again, a creative project or what you're sharing with the world, a passion project. You're putting something out into the world, and it probably is going to have a much more positive, impactful impact, reception. It's going to be received really well, probably more than you initially thought. But there could be some challenge or conflict you have to work through as well. Maybe it's again a deep-seated childhood belief or some kind of trauma that maybe a trigger, that you didn't know was still there that you have to work through. You might be taking time for yourself or needing time away from day-to-day life in order to kind of process and deal with that in the ways that you need to. So let me know how that resonates with you, Libra. That's your week ahead, and I'll see you next week. Okay, Scorpio, this full moon is in your first house. So it's really about you. What, is being illuminated about your appearance, your identity, your sense of self that needs a transformation, that needs a death and rebirth. It might feel a little chaotic, it might feel unstable, but it is something that you are being called to lean into that's going to positively benefit you and really your whole life. First house transits aren't just about you, they are about your whole chart. And you are the foundation of your life and your whole chart. So what is shifting around you that is really needed? Maybe you taking back your power from somebody as well. On Tuesday, the moon moves into your second house, putting a focus on your money, on your finances, your material possessions, how you're sharing your value with the world to create resources for yourself and help other people. There could be a positive shift around that is supported through you taking action in your career in some way or doing something in your work in some way on Tuesday. On Wednesday, there could be a challenge between all of that. maybe with a creative pursuit, or there could just be some like a tech issue or something, like you want to share something and like the tech isn't working, the internet's down, or something like that. And so you're having to like take a step back, reframe, and just really get clarity on like, okay, am I trying to force this to happen, or am I really taking this from action from a place of alignment, right? And so maybe you're called to go meditate while you wait for the tech to come back up or whatever it is, or go for a walk or something that's going to benefit your physical health, and it's going to further align you with divine timing and sharing whatever this is. um what is that quote? It's like rejection or setbacks or whatever is just redirection. So just trust that it's all aligning you with what it's meant to be and how it's meant to be. That could be amplified on Thursday through something, through a challenge or a conflict. And then later in the day on Thursday, the moon moves into your third house. So maybe shifting how you're sharing things with the world, how you're communicating yourself, mindset things as well could be a big focus, or just making a slight change or adjustment to where you're going on a daily basis that's supporting your physical health. Like, again, maybe it really helped you to go on that walk or do that yoga video. And now you're like, I want to integrate this into my routine, is kind of the vibe. But there could be some restrictions around that challenge you to maybe set some more structure for yourself to be able to have that. And then on Friday, the moon challenges Venus in your sixth house. So again, there could be some conflict or challenge with your schedule or with a foundation that you need to just work out the kinks of, and really schedule out time, pencil it in to be able to do it so that it doesn't get neglected. Saturday, there could be some wound or trigger that comes up through that, or through your day-to-day routine, or maybe something related to your physical health that, again, it feels like this is all kind of building Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then Saturday's like, okay, I can't ignore this anymore, is the energy. And it prompts some positive breakthrough or release in terms of a long-term goal or vision that you've been reassessing, maybe wanting to like move away from something like a dream that you had, and change it slightly. That could come through a helpful person in your life as well. But there could be some conflict, especially Saturday and Sunday, between your relationships and what you're doing in your career, or like it comes through your career and challenges a conversation you need to have with somebody or something like that. But it does feel like on Sunday too, there's a positive emotional transformation and shift in terms of your home, your family life, your kind of roots, and your foundation. So let me know how that resonates with you, Scorpio. That's your week ahead, and I'll see you next week. Okay, Sagittarius, we have the full moon for you happening in your 12th house. This could be the energy of a big spiritual breakthrough, revelation, or awakening. It could illuminate some mindset things that you didn't realize were there that you're needing to really just reframe, take action on, bring clarity to, in order to have a positive transformation, maybe in your home or your family. Then on Tuesday, the moon moves into your first house. You might be feeling more sensitive. You might be feeling more focused on you, your identity, your sense of self. There could be positive changes through maybe an international traveling trip, or a belief system or a mindset perspective of life that you're really taking action towards right now. That benefits your identity or your appearance in some way, and that also benefits your creativity and what you're sharing with the world, what you're, the passions that you're putting out there to benefit people. Also, it feels like it benefits you in some way. On Wednesday, there could be some major challenge between your home, your relationships, your career, and your sense of self that is just propelling some type of release in your career, propelling maybe you to move in a new direction in your career, maybe doing more things from home, or having more of your own kind of space to do things from in your career that feels more like you put your energy there, and it is truly you, if that makes sense. There's big innovations this week around your work and how you're sharing your work with the world. There could be a big breakthrough that happens around that on Thursday, as the moon in Capricorn is in your second house, harmonizes with Mercury in your sixth house. There could be some idea that you shift things, and you're starting to communicate it or talk about it more, and it's starting to feel more present, more important to take action on whatever this thing is. But there could be a belief system that's challenged in you to be able to have the right mindset to do and build a foundation around this from. Something around that could be challenged on Friday as the moon in Capricorn challenges Venus and Aries in your fifth house. There could be something that you're like, ooh, I wanted to do this, I wanted to share it with the world, but there's some emotional tie with money that just doesn't feel good. It's not comfortable, and you're really having to look at maybe any deep-seated wounds there in terms of your creative passions and pursuits and how you're sharing them with the world that maybe is related to money itself. And that could be bringing whatever happens on Friday could be bringing that up for you in a major way. On Saturday, that's amplified as the moon is challenging Chiron in your fifth house. You're also going to have the Sun Uranus conjunction in your sixth house, so big innovations and change around what you're doing for work, how you're sharing your gifts with the world, maybe needing to set certain boundaries around that too, to have better health routine or way that you take care of yourself in the ways that you need. Then on Sunday, there's some big emotional shift in your mindset that is that has really been propelling you into a new perspective of life. Again, all of this is kind of building this whole week, and then it feels like the clarity comes over the weekend and the shifts are here and you're realizing like what you need to do and how to go about it. And maybe the mindset, belief or whatever that was holding you back from doing it before, it's kind of like, okay, this is why it was all happening the way that it did, and this is what I need to do about it. So that's the week for you, Sagittarius. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Okay, Capricorn Rising, we have the full moon and Scorpio happening in your 11th house. This can really propel some shifts around your creative pursuits, how you're sharing yourself, your ideas with your community or on social media. This could beg for a transformation or a rebrand on social media in general or with your community, just how you're sharing yourself. It feels like there's a big need to make innovations, make needed change to what you're doing, how you're supporting other people through your work. Then on Tuesday, the moon moves into your 12th house, kind of putting the focus on your mindset and maybe what's there in your belief system or in your mind, subconscious, that needs to kind of be looked at and worked through and transformed. Maybe even too as it relates to your money or your finances, as Mars is transiting your 8th house and Pluto's in your 2nd house. There's a big need to change your relationship with money, how you're viewing it, and what you're seeing as possible around it. And that is really supported on Tuesday to make that breakthrough and shift. There could be something that comes up around your family too that was like a deep-seated wound around money that is brought to your attention to change. On Wednesday, there could be tension between, again, your mindset, your perspective of life, your belief systems, what's in your subconscious, and how that's manifesting maybe in your physical body, your physical health. There could be some need to really just reel back in how you've been sharing yourself with people and have better boundaries around those things. Then on Thursday, the moon moves into your 1st house, so you could be feeling more sensitive, more focused on you. There could also be some challenge that happens within your home that challenges an identity or a sense of self within you, just to relook at these things in an emotional way. But you are supported in really communicating from a place of grounded practicality, like what's going to be best for you. And not acting from wounds or triggers, but acting from like, what's the reality of the situation and what can you do about it in a way that's going to benefit you and not fully somebody else. It's almost like these themes of somebody might be trying to take advantage of you, and don't let them. Basically, that could be amplified on Friday and going into Saturday as the moon is challenging Chiron in your 4th house. Again, this could bring up some triggers or wounds that were deep-seated from childhood or from family dynamics, and bring them up so that you heal them. And that, like I said, is going to be maybe most of Saturday that could come up. And then on Sunday, the moon is going to move into your 2nd house, making some big, putting some big emotional focus and shift on transformation in terms of your money, your resources, how you're making it, how you're sharing it, how you're spending it, what you're doing with it. Again, there's this big need to transform and to really just have new boundaries or have new systems in place to better take care of your resources in the ways that feel aligned for you. And that could come through also some big shift in a creative passion or pursuit or project that you share that brings in more money than you expected. And you're like, oh, I really need to like have a bookkeeper, or I need to have a financial advisor or something to help me like structure this in a way that's going to benefit me long term, not just in the short term. So that's the week ahead for you, Capricorn. Let me know how that resonates, and I will see you next week. Okay, Aquarius Rising. We start the week off on Monday with the full moon happening in your 10th house. This could prompt for some really big shift in your career, some really big transformation in terms of letting an old career or a career that just felt like not you anymore die so it can be reborn into something new that's better for you, maybe even better for your family or your home life as well. Then on Tuesday, the moon moves into your 11th house. This could put a focus on your community, on your friendships, how you're sharing yourself with your community, with other people, maybe on social media or something like your outward community. There's a big focus as well on your money, and this has been a theme since the beginning of the year, maybe even since the last 2 years, but it's really been amplified this year. How are you making money? And are you doing it in a way that really supports you, that benefits you, that is aligned with your passions? There's some really big need to shift how you're bringing in money for yourself, maybe even creating your own job that is aligned with your passions. That could be supported on Wednesday, maybe through a helpful person in your life or somebody who finds you through a word of mouth or something like that. And they're like, hey, I heard you're really good at this. Like, can you help me? Kind of thing. It could be something that happens maybe too through an errand that you run and you just run into somebody. But it feels like there's a lot of harmonization between you sharing yourself with people in a way, again, that's more aligned with your passions. But on Thursday, there could be a conflict or challenge around that maybe like really propels you to need to make that shift. It's like, okay, I can no longer keep living the way I have living, like spinning my wheels. There's a big belief system shift that maybe needs to change around how you're sharing yourself and how it's making you money, or your creative passions or projects, how that's bringing in money for you. It feels like there's like a lot of pressure for you to innovate there through challenge, through conflict. On Friday, the moon moves into your 12th house, putting the focus on your mental health. There could be something that, through a dream or a conversation you have with somebody, you get a lot of clarity around maybe a subconscious belief or wound that was blocking you from doing this thing. But you are going to be supported later in the day on Friday and working through it, and maybe talking to a family member or somebody in your home or somebody that feels like family to you, and helping you to kind of work through that and discern how to shift that subconscious belief, how to really heal it. Then on Saturday, there could be some wound that's triggered through a neighbor or somebody in your immediate life, somebody you see or talk to on a daily or weekly basis, or an interaction you have somewhere that, at the grocery store. It could just be like, this was unexpected. that whatever that wound you're shifting through or working through on Friday is going to be directly like brought up on Saturday to kind of show you more about what needs to shift in your subconscious. There's a lot of change for you, Aquarius, happening in your family. This could be like your literal family, or it could be your home, and you're needing to make innovations there that actually support you and support your foundation so that you have a strong structure and system in your life on which to stand when things really start to shift in major ways for you, as they are and as they have been. You might be getting more clarity around that as well on Sunday as the moon moves over Pluto in your first house. You might be feeling this big need to shift or change something about yourself, your identity, your appearance, your sense of self, and just like how you are showing up in the world. You might be stepping into a completely new identity that is really brought up for you in a big way on Sunday. But there might be some challenging conversation that happens through a relationship or somebody else in your life that, again, really might trigger some childhood stuff. Might happen through your family or someone in your home, or somebody you're seeing, however it applies. It might feel like a very challenging conversation, but it does propel you into whatever this change is that you're maybe have been procrastinating. It's like, I need to do this now. That's kind of the energy of the end of the week for you, Aquarius. So let me know how that resonates, and I'll see you next week. Okay, Pisces, we start the week off with the full moon on Monday in your ninth house. There's a big perspective of life that is shifting, your philosophies of life, your mindset, how you're viewing things around you, your belief systems, where you're going on a daily basis, who you're talking to, maybe embarking on some international traveling trip. It's all kind of like focused on transforming those things. Maybe even investing in some sort of course or education to have the transformation you want to have in your resources. That could be a focus of the full moon on Monday. And then on Tuesday, it feels like the focus is really on your career. What are you doing there? What are you shifting about your career? How is it going to positively impact your finances, like making more money? And your physical health as well. How, this could be like if you had a job out in the world, you're like, okay, I want to own a business. I want to work from home. I want to like take care of me and share my gifts with the world in a way that feels good for me and allows me to take better care of myself and my family and whatever it is. This could be the week where you actually take action on it and you feel more in alignment with taking that action and doing the thing. Um, there could be some harmony around that, like I said, on Wednesday between your, taking the action in your career, putting it out there, and it could positively benefit your money. It could also positively benefit your physical health. But it feels like that could also bring up some identity things. On Thursday, there could be something that there's an emotional conflict or challenge between your home, your relationships, and how that is impacting your sense of self, your appearance, your identity. Maybe someone is like, yeah, I don't know, like spam hate commenting something on your content or something like that, or his family member says something that's just not cute, not a respectful thing to say, and it really kind of maybe triggers something, and maybe also makes you aware of the need to set boundaries around certain people and maybe what you talk about to them. Then on Friday, the moon moves into your 11th house. So this is going to put the focus on structure, routine, maybe in how you're sharing your gifts with your community or on social media. There could be some challenge that happens around that on Friday that is related to your money. So it could be like, oh, I really need to have like a schedule of when I create content or whatever, because I realize like if I don't, if I miss a day, then the algorithm doesn't push it out and then I don't make money, blah, blah, blah. So it could be like there's some breakthrough emotionally around needing to have better systems or structures in place, like a foundation of what you're doing and how you're sharing yourself. On Saturday, there could be some big breakthrough around that as well that's supported through where you're going on a daily basis. Like the Sun and Uranus conjunction in your third house is going to bring up a lot of mindset stuff. It's also going to bring up a lot about what you're doing on a daily basis, where you're going, who you're talking to, where you're running errands, your schedule, your kind of routine. So there could be some conflict that really propels you to take a better look at all of that. That maybe has been building kind of all week as well. There could also be on Saturday a mindset shift that comes up that's needed for you through a wound or a trigger around money itself. Then on Sunday, there is an emotional breakthrough in terms of your subconscious or your mental health, and how you're making needed transformation there. It could be like a really big death and rebirth, like a big release of some emotional subconscious block that has kind of been building all week that you didn't know was there. It's like this big release of something in the subconscious happens on Sunday. It could come up through a challenging conversation with somebody, um like through some sort of thing you do on a daily basis, or it could just be internal. It could be like a mindset thing like you're literally arguing with your ego, or needing to really talk to your inner child to like not have these subconscious things play out in your life, and repeat the old. So that's the week ahead for you, Pisces. Let me know how that resonates, and I will see you next week. All right, y'all, that is the week ahead for you. Let me know how it resonates. And I will see you next week after all these changes have taken place. Bye.